Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays, and we're back with Ant-Man versus Rhino, round two. So the first go with Rhino went pretty well. So was it a fluke, or is it just how good Ant-Man is? Let's find out. We'll get into round two here. So just Rhino standard, nothing fancy here. We've got Scott Lang out there. He starts with 12 hit points. Rhino, he's got 14, and we've got the break-in out there. So I think we're ready to go. Let's grab some cards. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Scott Lang's hand size. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. We've got double PIM particles. We've got a call for aid, which is pretty cool. That would let us go looking for some help there. So I think we're going to get rid of our first aid. Wow, it would be nice to put the reinforced suit on. Maybe we call for aid and then drop a reinforced suit on somebody. So we're going to toss first aid and giant strength. We're going to get 2 cards. Let's see here. 1, 2, and we get resize and moxie. Okay, well that didn't help us out a whole lot. Well, it might. Let's see how this works here. So let's see here. Call for aid. You have to be, it's a hero action. So that's a hero action, discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard an Avenger ally, then add them to your hand. So I think that's what we're going to do first, but we need to be an Avenger. So we need to get big, I think is what we're going to do. So when we get big, Ant-Man, Giant Nuisance. After you change to this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we're getting large. So we're going to do 1 damage to Rhino. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our call for aid. So call for aid is going to hero action, discard cards, look for an Avenger. All right, let's see what we have here. We're going to, it's an Avenger ally. No, it's an Avenger ally. Yes. So we get Ronin. All right, Ronin's going to drop into our hand. All right, so this is going to be kind of fun because here's what's going to happen. We have to spend 3 to get Ronin out there. Well, this is going to work out perfectly because we can do PIM particles, and it says hero response after you spend this card, heal 2 damage if you're giant, or draw 1 if you're tiny. Oh, I thought it was do 2 damage, but it's heal 2 damage, which does me 0 good right now. All right. So what we can do is, now that I realize I've changed to the wrong form, we're going to use our resize because we can. So resize says change to your other form, draw a card, and it's going to get me the card that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and flip on over to Ant-Man at this point. So when Ant-Man comes out, I get something that doesn't do me any good. After you change to this form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. There's no threat out there, so that's kind of lame. But what I can now do is I can use 2 PIM particles. Ooh, I forgot to draw a card. I get to draw a card. I get Swarm Tactics. All right, that's not going to do me any good right now. But what I can do is I can play 2 PIM particles and a Moxie for resources to get Ronin out there. So when I play my PIM particles, I get to draw a card if you are in tiny form, which I like. So I get to draw 2 more cards. All right, so 1, 2. Ooh, oh, wow. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our Swarm Tactics to play a reinforced suit on Ronin. So the reinforced suit is going to give Ronin +2 hit points. And if you take a look at Ronin, he gets +1 thwart and attack while an upgrade is attached. So he's going to boost on up to a 3. All right. And then I can use my strength to play my Army of Ants. And Army of Ants says if you are in tiny hero form, exhaust Army of Ants, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So get my Army of Ants out there. I do a damage. And then with Ronin, I'll go ahead and attack for 2, and then I get a boost of 1, so we'll attack for 3. So 3, 4. So we're going to knock him from 13 down to 9. Then we're going to do another attack. So let's see here. Let me math that all up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage we're going to do. Hopefully I'm mathing that all out right. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. Reinforced suit doesn't give him a bonus. He gets it because he's got an upgrade on him. All right. Then we're going to be done at that point. We're going to untap lots of things. And we're going to draw back up to a hand size of 5, which is the advantage of going to Ant-Man size, is I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards instead of 4 cards. So that is a huge difference. All right, got another call for action and another army of ants. Whoa, it's looking crazy. I also have the giant stomp here. So giant stomp is do 1 damage to each minion, 8 damage to an enemy. That's going to be a tough call, what I'm going to do here. I also have my giant strength, which says I get +1 attack if I go large also. So many things. Oh, there's Ant-Man also, who is pretty cool. So however much I spend for him, that's how much health he gets, essentially. You get 0, but I get a hit point for each each resource that I spend on him. Then he's a 2/2, which is nice. Okay, let's see here. We need to do some villainous stuff. So villain, threat on the main scheme. Next up, Rhino is going to come attack Ant-Man, and I'm tiny. In last game, it seemed like Rhino was always attacking when I'm tiny, and it's the same this game. So we're just going to take it. Rhino's going to try to step on Ant-Man. He's going to squish him for 2, 3 points of damage. All right, so we took 3. And that's a 3-point squish. Looks kind of like this, like running away. Ah! Okay. Next up, we need an encounter card. Encounter card is, Sandman. And he's gonna come into play with toughness. All right. Actually, he's kind of a tough dude there. All right, tough. Okay, so we're over to the hero turn. Now, the thing that's interesting is we have our giant stomp. So we could giant stomp. I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our army of ants to deal a damage to Sandman. There we go. Now, my giant stomp would take Rhino out, which is pretty cool. If I flip over to giant form, I deal a damage. So that would put 1 on Sandman. It's 1 damage to an enemy, so I can do it anywhere that I want. So I could flip over, do 1 to Sandman. I could giant stomp, which would do 8 to Rhino and 1 to Sandman. Then Breaking and Taken is going to come out. Then I have the choice of getting rid of Breaking and Taken with Ronan, or Ronan's going to thwart for 2. Oh, sorry, he should have a counter on him because he attacked. All right. So then Ronan, I got to figure out what I would do with Ronan at that point in time. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and go big. So we're going to, we're going to go big with Ant-Man because I'm going to play my giant stomp. So we're going to go big. Go big. Go big or go home. All right, we're going Ant-Man. We go huge. So when we're huge, we do 1 damage to an enemy. We're going to put 1 on Sandman. Now, we're going to do our giant stomp, and I think I will hold on to my call for aid and go 1, 2, 3 to pay for my giant stomp. All right, so giant stomp is going to do 1 damage to each minion and 8 damage to an enemy. Kapow! All right, that's more of a, does that work? Something like that. All right. 8 damage is going to take out Rhino. And then we're going to do 1 damage to Sandman. Rhino 2 is going to come into play. He's going to need how many hit points? 15 hit points. 15 hit points. And we're going to find Breaking and Taken. So let me dig through my tokens here. There's 15 hit points. And then I need to dig through the deck and find Breaking and Taken. And Ant-Man's exhausted. Oh, no, he's not. That was just an attack. All right. We need Breaking and Taken. Breaking and Taken. And last time I played, I put 2 thread on it. I forgot because it gets a bonus, 1 per player, so it should have had 3 on it. I don't think it really made a big difference last game, but to have it right, it should have 3 on it. So let's make sure we put 3 on there this time. Okay, put that out there. I'm going to put 3 thread on it. 2, 3. All right. So next up, what do we go after here? We can stomp with Ant-Man, or attack with Ant-Man, do 3 more. We can't thwart away the breaking and taken. We could do 2, 3, we could do 6 more to Rhino this turn and knock him down to 9. And then just take Sandman's attack. Because he's not all that tough. Let's do this first. First we're going to use our call for aid. And we're going to go see who we add to our hands. We're going to go look for another ally. All right, let's see what we come up with. We got Hive Mind, Power Gloves, Giant Man. It's going to be our Avenger ally. And he costs a lot. So we'll just set him to the side there. All right. I kind of want to take out Sandman because he attacks for 3, and that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I only need to do 2 damage to him. So either way, both of these guys are attacking for 3, and nobody can thwart enough to get rid of the breaking and taken. So I think we'll go ahead and have Ronin attack for 3, take out Sandman. And then in our big size, we'll attack for 3 and take Rhino down to 12. All right, so we're going to be done at that point. And we can't do anything with our army or advance because we're big size right now. And Ronin's got 5 he can take. Okay, so now the downside is our hand size is 4, so our ability to play Giant Man is pretty much nil. All right, oh, the wrist gauntlets are nice. All right, and actually Rhino is gonna, I think he's gonna attack me while I'm in giant form, which is awesome because he hasn't done that before. All right, first thing, 1 thread on the main scheme. We're up to 2. Rhino is going to see Ant-Man out here. Ant-Man's going to take this because he's in big form. I could defend against it, but I think I want to save that to deal some damage. So we're taking 3. We're going to get a boost of 2, so we're going to take 5 damage. That's a pretty good chunk of damage. All right, and next up we're going to get 2 encounter cards because breaking and taking is out there. So 1, 2, all right. Encounter card number 1 is Crowd Control. That's going to come out with 2 on it. It's got a crisis. We haven't been doing a whole lot of thwarting thus far. And then our second one is, oh, it's an advance. Uh-oh. This is where things get dicey. So we should be okay because he schemes for 1. He's going to get a boost of none. Okay. All right. That works out. Now, we shouldn't have schemed out that round, but it really would have made it tricky. I wasn't too scared about the crisis thing coming out, but if that had been a scheme and he would have got 3 or 4 instead of just the 1, that could have been a little bit more dicey as to what's going to go on because I can really maybe only take 1 more hit and then I'm kind of in trouble. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. Now, I'm not playing Giant Man. If I get the power gauntlets out, I could attach them to Ronin. If I get the wrist gauntlets out, if I use the power gauntlet, so I could attach these to Ronin. That's going to give Ronin 1 more damage. So that means Ronin would be attacking for 2, plus his bonus is 3, and then he gets another one, that's 4. And then I would do 3. We would have him set up to go out next turn. The other option is, right now, I could get the wrist gauntlets out and throw a stun on Rhino, which I think is a better idea. So instead, we're going to use our power gauntlets to play our wrist gauntlets. Gauntlets for gauntlets. All right. Then we're going to spend 2 physical resources, which I have right here. Exhaust the gauntlets, stun an enemy. So we're going to stun Rhino. That makes me feel a little bit better about what's going on going into next turn. All right, so then we're going to attack and attack. So that's 3 and 3, and we go up to 3. So we're going to do 6 to Rhino, so we're going to knock him down to 6. 5, 1. Okay. And then we're going to stay big because he's stunned and we think we can take it. All right, so we get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And we're over to the villain's turn, so we put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino would look to attack Ant-Man, but he's stunned, so he doesn't. All right, next up, we have 2 encounter cards. So as another advance, we're really in, well, we're kind of in trouble because it would be easy for him to go out. All right, so card number 1. Caught off guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. I think we're going to lose our wrist gauntlets at this point in time. I'm going to hold on to my army of ants. All right, second one. That doesn't have anything. Yeah, so just double checking there. So caught off guard says discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded, this card gains surge. So I don't have to worry about that. I did discard a card. Good job, me. And our second card is Gang Up. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. All right. So at this point in time, Ronin's going to have to step in front of this one. This is what I was afraid of. So he's attacking for 3. He's going to get a boost of 1. So he's going to hit Ronin for 4. That's going to take Ronin out. All right, this is where I was afraid things would get a little bit dicey. All right, so here's what we've got going on now. Is I could call for aid, and maybe I can get somebody that does 2 damage. So let's do that. We're going to call for aid and see who we bring out of the pile. So we've got 1. Oh, it's Wasp. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right. So we're going to spend 3 to bring Wasp into play. And this is just how perfect this works out. So Wasp says, after Wasp enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy if you're in giant form, which I am. So we are going to deal 2 damage. He's going to go from 6, he's going to go down to 4. And then we're going to hit him with Ant-Man for 3. So he's down to 1. 1. And we hit him with, oh, well, we could, let's do this. We'll change to Ant-Man form, remove 1 threat, and then hit him with the army of ants. Finishing move, ants on Rhino. It's kind of like Squirrel Girl with the squirrels, but we have the ants. So I'm tickled by that. That's pretty awesome. So there we go. Wasp did her thing by coming into play. That was really good. So I am super impressed by Ant-Man. So that's 2 wins on standard. They're pretty fast. I think we're going to have to ramp it up to expert because it looks to me like Ant-Man's just chewing through standard Rhino. And my card draws were okay that time. I don't think they were fantastic. I still haven't seen my helmet. I did get Wasp at the end there. There was a little bit dicey with Rhino getting the second attack, which I was worried about, but I had the things in play that made that work out. So yeah, it looks like Ant-Man's chugging along there. So I think that's it for this playthrough. Let me know if I missed anything there, but that went pretty quick and we took Rhino out. So I think it's time for Rhino Expert. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.